We just finished putting all the grooves into all of our rails and stiles. We separated out our rails from our stiles. And so now on the rails, we're gonna go ahead and set up the table saw to now put the tongue on either end of this rail so that it'll slide down into and up into the stiles. So that's what we're gonna do now. We'll set up the table saw and then we'll show you how we're gonna go ahead and put those tongues or tenon on the ends of these rails. These are all my scrap pieces that I'm gonna test making those tongues on my rails with. And now make sure you unplug the saw just so you don't actually accidentally turn it on while you're adjusting the blade. So this is the piece that I'm gonna add into the dado stack, which is gonna make it wider than the current 1/4 inch that it is. I'm gonna move our fence out. Make sure you have the orientation correct. So now we're going to move the blade all the way down. And so now I'm just going to use whatever I have lying around, probably a piece of plywood as my sacrificial fence. You can tell that I've used this piece of plywood before here as my sacrificial fence. But this is what we're going to do. I mean, you're going to attach this to the fence. Now to push the piece along, I'm going to be using the miter gauge here with a scrap piece in front of it just to support my workpiece because some of them are pretty small. I think the smallest one I have is 7 inches. So that's how I'm going to be doing it. And so without turning it on, let me just get this a little closer and show you kind of what we'll be doing here. So let's say on this piece, we want to create a tongue on the end that's going to stick into a groove on another piece. So I have one already done on this piece right here. So to kind of show you what it is that we're going to be doing here. So the fence will determine how long the tongue is. And then the height of the blade will determine the thickness of the tongue. So what we're going to do is once we have this all set, we would take the miter gauge and we would push this piece, and that would cut all of this out right here. And then we would come back, flip it over, get set, and then we would push it again, and then that would cut our tongue. But we don't know exactly the measurements, Like for instance, this connection is much too loose. So, which would mean that the blade was too high. So that's why we kind of like walk it in slowly. So I'll start the fence covering more of the blade to make it shorter, and we'll just work our way and get closer and closer and closer until we have it right. This will be my piece that I push with for like these smaller pieces here. And then I'm going to start with the fence closer in, not exposing much of the blade. And I'm going to start up the saw, and then I'm going to raise it up. And then I'm going to take a first pass, flip it over, take a second pass, try to fit it into the groove, look and see what I'm working with, and then go from there. All right, so you can see there, we made a little tongue. We know this is too wide, which means the blade is going to have to come up because it won't even fit in our groove. And then let's look at the depth. The depth is actually really close. So probably about a 1/16 of an inch off with the depth. So which means we move the fence back a 1/16 of an inch, and then we're probably good. So we need to come up and back. So we'll start the saw and then we move it up so I can cut into the fence. So the saw still needs to come up because we can't fit it into the groove here. And then let's check the depth. Oh yeah, that depth looks perfect. So maybe a hair. So the fence looks good. We might have to move it back just a little bit, but we're really close. Very, very close. But saw does need to come up ever so slightly, so turn the saw on, we'll do it again. Oh, really, that looks great. Look at that. That's exactly what we want right there. So it takes a little practice for sure, but that looks excellent. I like that a lot. Hope you found this video helpful. In the next video, we're going to show you how to make the center panel out of 1/2 inch plywood. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. Thanks for watching Break It Yourself, and we'll see you next time.